Hello and welcome to episode 4 of our Timberborn Timberpunk 2 playthrough. We gotta hit pause because horrific mistakes have been made. Namely this. I had forgotten that this was a bad water seep and not a bad water source, so that when I saw this turn on, I completely missed that that was going to be a thing. So, now we have the, I guess it would be presumptuous to call it an honor, but we have the duty of dealing with this. The biggest problem this is going to cause is all of our blueberries here are going to become contaminated very quickly if we do not somehow allow this to go somewhere else, or alternatively just force more clean water out of this thing. Then this is going to be able to get through and contaminate. So I don't think that's very viable when you have 9 beavers who can work. So what's going to have to happen is this natural dam and this blockage are going to have to go away, because this is not going to turn off unless we can put a blockage in front of it that's actually going to be watertight. And we don't really have anything that'll go up to 1 block high in this version of the game because nothing's been unlocked. So I think it's going to be unavoidable to get some sort of contamination in here, but if we're going to have any shot whatsoever of surviving beyond the next 10 minutes, we gotta get this bad water coming through here. So most important thing to get rid of is this blockage, and then secondarily this natural dam. If I get this blockage out of here and this starts overflowing, then it's not gonna have any obstacle to get through here. Of course, this is going to kind of flow through here as well, but it just has to have somewhere else to go before we can do literally anything else. This natural dam will overflow probably pretty quickly and then start mixing with this, which is going to give us a different problem we have to solve in terms of where all the overflow is going to come from here. But I think, operative term being think, it's going to be best to get this out of here first. We really don't have many other options at this point, to be perfectly honest with you. So, that is going to have to be what happens first. But before we unpause, let's just take quick stock of everything else. Probably, at this point, are going to have to make a very, very concerted effort to abandon the bowl as fast as we can. Unfortunately, there's not really anywhere up here we can go that's viable without doing a considerable quantity of something. What that is, I could not tell you. So, all we can do now is just let this be what it's going to be and move on from there. I'm probably going to have to... Probably going to have to get rid of this dam. I do not want to get rid of this one, if I can help it. But I'm probably going to have to get rid of this one, which is going to mean that this is also going to be draining out rather quickly. But if I can do anything to protect even just a few of these berry bushes, so we can get enough berries saved up to keep making more beavers and move them away from this pit of despair, that's probably what we're going to have to do. We did just now get our 3-day drought warning, which will help to a certain degree, keeping this in check. But unfortunately, there's not really much else we can do besides taking care of that. I do think this natural dam probably shouldn't go away, but it's probably going to have to. I don't know. We really don't have a whole lot of options, and in all honesty, probably just need to, give up and start over, or just move on and not do this again. But we don't quit on this channel. We just, make really stupid mistakes, and then people who don't understand how it works just get mad. But that's okay, because we know what's happening. We know how this works. I unfortunately am not going to be able to get this probably moving any more water for the time being, because I really, really need to make sure they come over here, because this is already not doing me any favors. Yes, we've already got this coming in, poisoning things. These are only halfway through. This is only 58%, but it's about to be contaminated like you would not believe. So I really, really have to get some beavers in here. Like, that is going to be the only hope we have, is to bring more clean water in than bad water is coming out. And that's not even accessible from the district. There we go. Get that taken care of. Who else can we get rid of? That one. I mean, we need to have food, but right now if we lose this water, we're done. It's over. Like, it's actually over. So that is about the only thing we can reliably do, is ensure the safety of our water long term. So, just let them do what they got to do. Get this removed, because this is going to spill in a spectacular fashion until we can get absolutely everything else taken care of. So that's going to help a tiny, tiny bit. Okay. Now, we can hit pause, because we may have helped a tiny bit of stuff, but things are still going to get a lot worse than they currently are. We do have some water coming out. It's maximum input power, which is what we want. I don't need to have 4 beavers on here. I think I can get by with 3. But I do still need us to have maximum power, because we have to keep, if we can, as much clean water in here as we possibly can. This is still here. As long as this doesn't, you know, stay above 0.666 repeating for too long, that's probably going to be okay. The issue is that this is still going to be an issue coming out this way. And at some point it's going to overflow to come down here, which honestly isn't that big of a deal, but I really wanted to get these gears. I'm not going to keep the beavers, you know, beholden to that, though. The main goal right now is to just help this stop being quite as much of a disaster. Yeah, it just needs to stay a little bit further down here, so this flows that way. All right. Now that that's a thing, this is still healthy for the time being, but it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to be a viable long-term thing. Even though we probably need to get the heck out of Dodge sooner rather than later, we absolutely have to grow more berries in more places that are going to be accessible long-term, which means we have to have another forester over here. And we did kind of talk about that a little bit last time. I think the easiest thing for us to do is just going to have to be coming over to one of these kind of areas where we can reach most of the land that's irrigated, and just letting that be what it's got to be. This, long-term, honestly, should probably be considered as forsaken land. You know, the succulents aren't really going to care, but we don't really need these anyway. I just need to make sure these blueberry bushes survive. We also, unfortunately, need to continue pumping water out of this, which, an unenviable task, to be sure. And I also have to have beavers taking care of all this stuff. So, let's hit pause again, because we don't need to just blast through this and immediately have a ton of problems. Survival is the goal. I'm going to feel pretty comfortable knowing, especially in 12 days, this is going to blow up. Getting rid of that forester. Since this is currently extremely load-bearing, I'm not going to get rid of this barracks yet. We will when this, you know, when this goes off. We'll recover all those materials, but I need this. I need this to be going, so that has to stay there. Gotta have at least 1 or 2 beavers pumping, but now that we have this, I think we're okay. At least in the medium term, we need to keep this going as much as we can. Gonna pause that lumberjack flag. See, that already is going to go down. Just take that down to 1. It's already nighttime hours anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I think overall we're looking okay. I'll consider it acceptable given the circumstances, but let's try to get through this immediate period prior to the drought without killing any of these berry bushes, because these are already out. See, there this one goes. So this is why it's so important that we have this clean water coming in. That's the only hope we have. The only hope we have of keeping this even slightly viable. Because once they get to the tipping point here, then they die quick. And this 65%'s already gone to waste. I think, provided we can keep enough clean water in here, some of these outlying berries may stand a chance without being contaminated, because this is also 1 block above. But it is, to be sure, an unenviable position in almost every possible regard. Yeah, we've got this here, continuing to harvest. Fortunately, the population is still small, and it ends up not really being an issue. This one beaver is probably okay. We're fermenting cassavas, which is good. We do need this to continue going. Maybe not the most important thing right now. No, not that. No, not that one. I'm going to pause that. We need to have this pumping out as much as we possibly can. Make sure these are still on track. Seem to be alright. Not much else we can do except just wait and see exactly what kind of misfortune is going to continue to befall these poor beavers. This is going to go off, as we said last episode, probably during this next drought. So it's really not going to matter unless we get a drought that is, I would say, maybe 7 days or less. Then we'll worry about keeping these. If not, we'll just, focus on the transition and do what we got to do. If I had the science, I would have researched levees. That would have solved that problem real quick. But we are unfortunately not in a position where that is a viable option. And this is about halfway through having enough cassava in there. I really need this to have more in here. Okay, this forester is now available for us to be planting some berries. So let's just do that. I'm going to end up planting probably more than is strictly speaking necessary just from a panic survival standpoint. This is so much more bad water than I thought was going to be an issue when I first remembered that this was going to be a thing. All we got to do is outlast when this starts going off. And as long as we've got enough to keep this over that threshold of clean versus polluted, these berry bushes might stand a chance. I'm going to pause pumping just to keep it that much cleaner. But I fear we might be about to lose the war here, and this is also... Yeah, it's dying 9 days, and we don't have any berries left. This is going to remain paused at 99% as an emergency because we know we're not going to have berries for a long time. And we've got the drought about to come in. Yeah, see, this is already starting to slow down. They always do. I just really wish this could have stayed just a tiny, tiny bit cleaner, because I feel like these are right on the precipice of being poisoned, given how this is looking. These have already shut off. That's unfortunate, but that's, I guess, just going to be what it's going to be. All right, so we have a... How about that? We have a 7-day drought. This is going off in 9 days. There is a reasonable chance that, assuming we don't have evaporation that causes other issues, we may be able to get just the tiniest bit of clean water here at the end of this drought, assuming we make it through the end of the drought. Let's be perfectly clear here. That's always a possibility that that goes poorly. But for right now, we cannot do anything else with this for the next 7 days. So let's pause that. We'll get those beavers back. These crops, unfortunately, are more or less forfeit. But we've got cassava here, ready to harvest. I'm going to actually go ahead and pause this farmhouse, because this one can also reach most of those. We've got berry bushes that were planted. This is, probably not going to evaporate during this drought, but you can never be sure. We unfortunately are going to have to pump from here, because if I pump from here before these berries are able to be picked, we will end up increasing the saturation of bad water and killing these things. 39 water for 14 beavers is not even enough for multiple days. So this at 78% is going to be pretty much into beaver thirsty territory before we can pluck those out. As long as they don't get contaminated before that time, we'll be okay. These are probably toast. These are definitely toast. They're already dead. Yeah, so, well, we know we can't do anything with the aquifer drill. It's not going to draw any power during a drought anyway. So now I do want this one beaver to still be working here. We have to get somebody in the fermenter to make some food. And then maybe we can think about, you know, what's going to happen next with industrial things, whether we want to focus on putting another set of aquifer pumps in here. Because we don't know when this is going to go off. And even though we have 3 geothermal fields right here, what is underneath? This thing, which, again, we don't know when it's going to go off, but based on how the rest of this has gone, I'm sure it's going to be an absolute cataclysm when it does. And this did flood down here, which means... probably don't want to be messing with this if we can at all help it. So, onto the drought we go. All we can do is put on a brave face, and that's just about it. Fortunately, if no more bad water is coming in this way, then we know we're going to, in theory, not going to have a higher percentage of contamination here. The water level is just going to go down. There is still a little bit of bad water that is flowing out from here, way back in there, and also here, but it should not go above our natural dam here. It should just kind of come this way as this drains out, and therefore this will not become any worse than it already is. And we have fermented cassava, which is good because that's a better food. That's going to give them a little bit more of a well-being bonus. And now, since we can't really do anything else, probably is about time. In fact, I'm just gonna keep on planting more of these berries, I guess. Probably doesn't matter, because we're gonna need them eventually. We need to get on more cassava if we can help it. Just let this be the best it can be, which admittedly is not very much. Well, that's all we can do. And we might as well get this campfire completed. I know we had a bunch of stuff paused, kind of running around in panic mode, trying to figure out how we're going to... Uh-oh. I don't like this. I don't like that dying. I definitely don't like that dying. And the fact that that has happened now... Okay, we might actually be toast. We may be screwed, because this is only going to get worse. Now that that's completely gone. Yep, okay, well, you remember how I kept this guy paused because I was afraid we weren't going to actually have any berries? Well, there you go. That is the entire, you know, that's the entire thing right there. So that is completely forfeit. That's over. Done. 3 days for this unstable core to go off. No, it's not that one. This is a different one. Ah, this fun thing. Yep, so say goodbye to that 800 science we couldn't get to. Now, we're also out of water. So now that that's no longer an issue, I mean, I really don't think we're going to be able to get any water out of here to any meaningful degree, but that's it's about all the shot we've got to try and get some sort of water out of here. It's going to be, if at all, just the tiniest, most inconsequential amount very, very, very slowly. Which means that now I have to build a pump somewhere, and I don't really have a spot to put this that would actually be able to reach anywhere except for... Is this the same depth? It is, except for right here. That's only 15%. Yeah, you know what? I can't justify waiting for that. Are we getting anything? Okay, like 1 or 2 drops. That is massively disappointing. Oh well, you probably saw that coming. All we can do now is just keep on keeping on. This is no longer going to make sense to have that for berries. We should make that for fermented cassava. These guys are going to be waiting a long time before that can come out. We still have 3 kits, which is fine, I guess. But that is, you know, that's the way it goes. This is going to have to go if that straw fits there. We are going to have to get some amount of water out of this. But as long as we're getting something from here to keep the beavers alive another couple days, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Just need to maybe rethink some of our strategy here. This long term is not going to be great, but this blowing up also just kind of makes this pointless to even bother with over here. Just going to have to let it be what it's going to be. So where do we go from here? Well, there's not really a ton that we can do without having enough water to, you know, continue growing the population, continue making stuff. But I don't want to give up until there's no beavers left, because, you know, that's how we always do things here. We try to keep things going as best as we can, even when bad things happen, because, you know, if you go through life just giving up when something bad happens, then you're not going to get very far, are you? So we can give the beavers the same courtesy. Just gonna let them. I'm gonna keep that pause for a little bit. But while we have the next 4.7 days to, you know, think about our life choices, it is probably time to send some beavers up here to try and make a space that we can actually utilize. And knowing what is where up here, we kind of took a look earlier, is probably going to help inform where we should try to set up shop. We have access to the top here already. There's not really any other point here where it's going to make sense for us to even really attempt to go up. So in this immediate area, we do have 212 water right here, which is not really easy to get to, but it's not going to be that difficult. We just need to navigate a path through the thorns here. We are going to have to get rid of some of them, which is going to be a challenge, but it's nothing that is going to be super impossible. We just need to probably try to min-max our way through here. Cut a path without using thorns if we can at all help it. To get to water here. Water here. We've got some logs. We've got science also that isn't under threat of being exploded. This is not a water source that actually produces water. This is a drain. Which right now, that means we don't want to put anything in here, but could be very useful as bad water starts happening. You know, I'm going to keep this pause so we don't accidentally waste any more time. Any more beaver time, not any more you time. Thank you for being here, by the way. Regardless of any tragedies that may befall our poor beavers. It means a lot to me that you continue to watch these videos. And I probably don't even need to bother, like, clarifying any of this, because the people who are going to want to watch the videos are going to want to watch the videos, but I never claimed to be good at the game. Just know that. I do claim to be honest, which I think, and at some point at least, was a virtue that a lot of people, you know, seem to value. So I'm always going to stick by that, even if it means that I get to, you know, show you guys me falling on my face, because that's just how life goes. But if you don't have honesty, what do you have in your life? Just think about that. But regardless, it is time for us to make sure that we've got everything taken care of here. Give these guys a good path to water. And outside of that, we're probably okay. I just need to try and locate a spot where we can put a fluid dump. That's a discharge now. That's right, they changed the name. When we get 250 science, which you might think, oh, we don't have that. Well, here's 200 science right here in the relic. We just have to be able to get to it through the thorns, which is not going to be easy. But it's not going to be impossible either. There is not really a good place to put a fluid dump up here. But that's not going to be an issue for a while, because for the time being, we do still have this. And there is another aquifer here we can put one of these things in and be okay. We can build a geothermal generator and get power over here so we don't have to have beaver manual labor, which honestly probably should be what we do with the rest of these planks. And you know what? I'm gonna say that's the most important thing right now. This is probably not going to get us a whole lot of materials when we hit demolish on it. And it won't give us any planks. But right here, if I get these platforms removed, will give us, right here, 10 planks, which gets us almost to the 30 we need here. And knowing that this is now empty, we already know the reserve warehouses only give us scrap metal. So we don't need to really be that worried about demolishing those. Warehouses are not that expensive for us to build, so losing access to this by demolishing these stairs is not going to be a big deal whatsoever. And now we have all the planks we need to get this taken care of, which that is going to be our biggest problem solved. The other thing is, how do we power everything? Well, of course we have regular power shafts, but those interrupt pathing and can be somewhat of a pain without building platforms on top. We're not going to do that. So probably what's going to have to happen is I just have this run maybe through some area like this where I'm not going to have to build as many platforms as I would otherwise, and then just use stairs. We need to have this operating first. We can always move the industrial stuff. In fact, we did talk about doing that. I just need to make sure the aquifer drill can be powered, which for right now is not a concern because it's a drought. Just need to make sure they can take care of this. Cutting the trees down is going to require that we have a lumberjack flag that can actually reach something. Which I think... No, so that won't even fit there. That also will not reach high enough. So I think... Now, I hate to say it, but I'm probably going to have to just kill these first 2 pine trees because I'm not going to have room to get a lumberjack that can actually reach until I get to here. So I think we just need to go with that. There's also water down here, by the way, that we haven't bothered trying to get to. And in terms of berries, well, we did discuss that there's some other stuff elsewhere, but it's going to be kind of hard to get to. At least the way things currently are now. So, unpause. Do our best to get these guys through the rest of this nonsense and move on from there. We are somehow still getting water from here, by the way. So I'm not going to worry about messing with that. We've got 12 working adults, which is the most we've had in a long time, and also makes me kind of feel like it would be a mistake not to take advantage of their building powers. So I'm going to get these guys all operating there. And let's go ahead and put on 2 lumberjack flags. These are all marked for cutting, so we'll get plenty of wood. That -2 is going to affect what? We know we need that. I don't have enough cassavas really to have this continuously going, but I got these. I can actually put a second beaver in here. This is going slow enough where I don't think I can justify having 3 beavers working this. So I'm going to take that one out. Still at -2, but they're going to come out of here first. That's fine. Let's get this operating. The industrial lumber mill, probably, since it's, 36% of the way to making another plank, we might as well just turn that back on. This, however, is not. So that can get removed, and that's also going to give us some more planks and stuff to pick up. We'll just, bridge this gap with some more power shafts. And because of the way this is set up here, 120 HP coming out of 400 is going to be much better than this. Because this will take the aquifer pump. We'll take 400 at full tilt, and this can only ever put out 300 something. So if we want that to be, remotely usable, then we do have to take that into account. Yeah, they're not going to get to this for a hot minute, are they? Probably not. We got 4.3 days. The drought resistance of the berries is 9. So if we pumped this completely dry now to, keep the beavers alive, then the berries would still be fine. The cassava is only 3 days. So when this gets down to, the drought timer gets down to about 2.5, I might turn this on. Want to try to keep these berries irrigated as long as possible because obviously this was a horrific failure. But we learned something, theoretically. And if this has any amount of clean water left in it, I am going to be shocked. But I guess at this point all we can do is wait and see, because I would love to have those other beavers out to cut more trees or remove stuff. So we'll give this a watch here real quick. Okay, there's still some amount. So I guess that's fine to leave that like that. Alright, my builder beavers are probably still chugging away on this. Plenty more to get done here. This was deprioritized because I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. Probably shouldn't be deprioritized anymore, but now we're only, you know, 2/3 through this. Probably should just let that get finished so I can start moving these things over. Yes, I can't really justify doing all the rest of that. I'm going to pause the forester. I should have had that paused a long time ago. That's going to give me another beaver to do one in the lumber mill. Just get this last plank done and I can move this thing completely out of here. Oh, it's just a little bit too quick. There we go. This is done. Alright, now that gives me the ability to move that over here and get 24/7, 365, or however the beavers choose to measure their dates taken over here. Perhaps the most important thing that we can do long-term, one of the most important things we can do long-term, even though this is going to go off in 6 days, is figure out a way to neutralize this. Which, given the way science has been going here, probably is okay for us to go ahead and research the levees and put these in. Yes, I do realize I just took these out. They weren't going to reach them with that anyway. So all I'm going to have to do is get a staircase down to here. See if I can get somebody in here. Yeah, because I only need another 3 science. But I do need them to come and take care of this stuff. They actually did start that. Yeah, see, log-wise, you know, maybe log-wise we should just be picking the stuff up off the ground instead of dedicating an employee to that. That's going to get somebody back in here. I just need 3 science. That's all I need. Or not 3 science. Math is hard. 10. I don't know why I thought that was 112 instead of 120. Never been good at numbers. Yeah. We're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. I did say 2.5 days. I'm going to get that turned on. Okay, 0.2 days is not this one. That's this one. Going to go off. That's not really going to, you know, be of any consequence to us. It's just going to collect a lot of bad water. They are going down here to grab... Oh, no, that's where they're storing the core. Okay, that was not... It's probably not my smartest thing I've ever done. I think... Honestly, I think this reserve warehouse with the gears might be a trap in terms of being able to get over there, because then we do have to remove these natural overhangs, which is going to flood this entire underneath everything with bad water. As if it wasn't already. Let's be real here. Planks-wise, I should still have some down here. Yeah, they just have to take care of it. Okay. There we go. There we go, friends. This lumberjack flag is ready to go. We've got... I already went down here, right? To grab the... No, I didn't! I forgot about the emergency berries! Ho 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 ho! Ho 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 ho! Ye of little faith. Here we go. Let's get this blockage out of the way. Boy, oh boy, did I not remember that, and now my day has been massively improved. Oh yes, friends. Oh yes, doubt the beavers at your own peril. Doubt me all you want. There's plenty of reasons to doubt me, but doubt the beavers at your own peril. They will always figure out a way to make something work, and that might have just saved our butts. This just needs a 3. We're at 2.7. Yeah, see, we've only got about a third of a thing of depth here. As long as I can just keep this going about as best as I can, we're going to be all right. I can't believe they're still getting water out of this. It's unbelievable. Well, yeah, that's what it means when you can't believe something, doesn't it? No, they're not coming through here because I should have had that going. No, that's actually... One of those is okay. What do you mean you got nothing to... Oh. That quick, huh? That quick, huh? Alright, well... Tell you what, I guess I should no longer be concerned with how this is going to gain access to spaces, should I? Just get rid of it as soon and as quickly as possible. Alright, so that's connected there. This has to be removed, and then we're going to have all of our berries. Well, and by all of our berries, I mean 74. Man, you know what? I was going into this episode honestly kind of dreading it because I was like, oh, well, here's how I'm going to have to figure out how to, you know, pull the beavers out of this absolute disaster of the setup that I gave them. And now we got a fighting chance. We got a second wind. I'm not going to say that, you know, everything's, you know, hunky-dory or whatever, but could always be worse. But now, the bigger problem that I'm going to face is I've got to build this before the end of the drought here. And I may have in my, I'm not going to say misplaced zeal, maybe misallocated, poorly prioritized zeal. Because this is still important. And this is still important, but maybe that was just a little bit more important. Who can I justify pausing? Probably, honestly, just this. I am going to pause the campfire again. Sorry, campfire lovers. That's just the way it goes. Who can I got 12 beavers working. How am I still... Okay, these guys... You're done. You're done. It's over. It's over. We're going to be okay right now. I just need them to finish building. I need them to get the science for me, first of all. I need this guy to come in here, research his butt off for the next 4.5 hours so I can get my 120 science. Then I need him to go build me some stairs and some levees in the next 1.8 days. If we're going to move with a quickness, I'll tell you what. And there we go, 120. That's done. Which means levy time. And then this goes here, and this now becomes the most important thing these beavers can possibly do. That goes there and there. And then, yes, because we did get rid of this here, that is going to continue flooding in unless I block it off with another levee, which is going to be something that we're going to do. But this is the absolute most important thing. Absolute non-negotiable most important thing. Somehow they still have not finished. Okay, there we go. That's done. I got 2 beavers working here. I really need to have 4. I'll just straight up pause this. No, I should have paused that a long time ago because these guys are just coming in here to remove. 212 water here. The beavers are not currently thirsty. They will be thirsty, but not soon enough to justify prioritizing this over securing our stuff down here. So now I've got an extra beaver, which means... honestly, I think I can just leave this like it is and turn the inventors, both of them, back on, because as long as they get this built, which they do have the materials for if they come and grab the planks off the ground, which they will do, provided I have a storage for the planks, which I do. That'll be fine. After we get through all of this nonsense and get enough stuff cleaned up, yes, I will build a hauling post, but I can't do that right now because, one, I don't have the materials for it, and this is way more important to keep further bad water out of here. Now, the icing on the cake would be if this activated or became undormant or whatever at the start of Cycle 5. That would be one of the largest possible middle fingers that the map maker could give to me in this moment in time, which, honestly, I signed up for it, so I shouldn't complain about it. It's just the way it goes. We're halfway through growing the bush, which is good. Still going to take a long time to get those berries, but now that, now that this is hooked up, let's get these kits locked and loaded. I'm going to get that one popped out here. I just need capital N-E-E-D them to come over here and take care of this, which honestly now... Oh, of course they're building this one first. Well, you know, I still need that, so it's fine. But if this is not done in the last day that we have, we're going to be in some deep, deep trouble. Alright, so here's a 3-day warning on this thing. I do, to a certain extent, want to still give this a shot. But now I have to... Okay, we're going to be on 24-hour working day watch for this. I need to make sure this and this get done. At least this is done. That's actually a big help, having that taken care of. And then getting this blocked off because it is a seep, not a source. I know this has nothing going on next to it right now. It's, you know, it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Beavers are not thirsty yet. They will be at some point, probably very soon, but 212 water right here is going to be a good thing for us to try and, you know, get our paws on. Start moving some stuff up here. You know, just to check. See, this drains out here. But what comes into this? Looks like there is a source that is active that comes through here. So this, theoretically, if we removed the natural dam, would drain. And then if we blocked this off, we could actually put some clean water up here. Or if we wanted to actually irrigate something, put a levee here, and then put a levee here. Because this has an out, as a blockage, that's a natural dam. So the bad water that comes from this would actually go away easily enough to make some of this somewhat usable. But I don't need to get distracted any more than I already am. I just need this to be done. And actually, I should check and see that I've got all my beavers working. I've got 4. Okay. Farmers are still doing farmer activities. We have fermented cassava still working. 78. We got like 4 days worth of food, which is more than we've had in a long time. Okay, the sleep deprivation is getting to them. They are getting a little thirsty. But I think at this point, 0.6 days, I can justify pumping a little bit here. Just pause both of that. Keep our worker numbers up enough just to give them a little bit of a refreshment. I just need this to be done absolutely, positively, the absolutely most important thing ever. Just get it done. Just come on down here. Get that thing finished. You know you want to. You can go to bed when you're done, but if you don't get this finished, then you're gonna be done. And you're not gonna have to worry about sleeping because you're gonna be toast. Yeah, see, it's starting to peel back from the edges, which means it's about done. There is basically no more water that can be gotten out of this. Yeah, I should have started this a little bit earlier. Just a little bit, because now they're going to be sleepy. They're not going to want to, you know, do any work here. But we don't have the luxury of taking care of this now, do we? We really don't, because this is about to turn back on. Yeah, I'm keeping this paused just for right now, because now we've got exhausted beavers. Keep both of those paused. I need to make sure, because now this is dry, and this isn't going to get turned back on without somebody running on the wheel. And not only that, we don't even have this hooked up because I removed those buildings so I could get the materials, and now... Well, we got a couple days worth of stuff to do with this. Now I need them to finish this more than I need them to do, you know, anything. So... I don't know why people are so against the 18 work hours. Nothing gets done if you do 16. But, you know how that goes. Now I just... Yeah, we might actually be toast now. Because they wouldn't come finish this. And we're absolutely going to have at least one infected beaver. And now the even worse thing is, like, they did this first. They did this first, but I needed them to have that done. Oh, beavers, beavers, beavers. Are you carrying 4? You are carrying 1 berry. Are you carrying 4 logs? You're probably not carrying 4 logs. You're carrying 2 logs. This does not say there's no resources available. But now I'm very afraid that we may be kind of toasted if they don't get this done. Because now I've got 1 LML beaver. It's probably going to be 3. Anyway, that's taken care of. Were you in there long enough to get unwell? No, you're dehydrated, which that's also not good. Probably have to abandon all hope of getting this taken care of. Let's hit pause. Yeah, I've got to get beavers on here and rotating quickly. I know this is like everyone's least favorite thing that I end up doing most of the time with this, but we've just got to be able to recover all those materials. The game lets me do it, so it doesn't matter. Alright. Got to have all of these without somebody getting stuck, please and thank you, located here. Just come here and take care of that, I say, as soon as I get rid of all of those guys. But I gotta have somebody in here. I think, yeah, that's just best I can do. Oh, no. See, this is why I don't like 16-hour days, because they don't get anything done. Okay, that's done. This now, assuming they start, I'm just gonna have it be 20-hour days. I just need them to come and finish this one piece here. And get me at least a tiny bit of water. And that's it. Okay, well, let's go back to 18-hour days. So now we have no water and they are starting to get thirsty, but as soon as this can actually run, we're going to be okay. Yeah, got one day I can't justify having them come over here for this, at least not right now. This will have to evaporate. There is water down here, by the way. I'm obviously not going to send them in here to get poisoned because that would be a horrifically bad idea. Yeah, let's take this down to 2 beavers. Down to day 2, and... yeah, see, I need them to run on the wheel. That is going to be the most important job that these beavers can do today, and for quite a while, is to run on the wheel. Get things irrigated, and then we need to start pumping, so let's go ahead and get somebody in there. And there we go. We've saved the crops, saved the berries, which is, well, I guess now not as important because we have access to this. These are fed, which means we're going to have our baby beavers. And then getting up here is going to be now the most important thing. So that's going to get us a chance to get up there, to get this, to get this, to get this. That's going to have to wait. I did say something about this having bad water coming down that we could probably easily stop if we just put in a single piece of levee or something up here. Because when it gets full enough, it will go over the natural dam, so provided we could actually get far enough up here to do that, might not be a bad idea. Or I think if I placed one of them, let's try this. That is too far. What if place that? That's still too far. Oh, they probably can't walk through the thorns. Okay, that is going to really make things hard. Because I want to be able to utilize all of this. That's probably a next episode thing, which honestly I can't believe that we're even still going to be able to have a next episode, but you know, that's the way it goes. So I guess the last thing we're going to really be able to do today is watch this thing explode. I've been told that the materials will still be on the ground when this gets blown up. Whether I believe that or not is... actually, wait a second. There's no way that can be right, because this got blown up, and it wasn't 15 days ago. So... here's what we're going to do, because we know this is going to blow up. I'm just going to yeet it, delete it. Those things go... where do they go? They're nowhere. They've evaporated. What happened to the pieces? What happened to the pieces? There's no pieces. Okay, well. That means we don't have to care about this. Which is, irritating, but... at least now there's... logs we can pick up. Oh boy. Well. At the very least, we've managed to survive one more episode. And I am obligated, as I always am, to thank the people who support the channel, the way that we do things. Whether that's a great thing or not, I guess is up for you to decide. But I'm always going to be thankful of the beard boosters and everybody, even if you're not on the list, who continues to watch the videos and appreciates the authentic format of how we do things instead of me trying to chase the algorithm or, I don't know, be like a 500 IQ super genius doing this. I just have a good time playing with beavers. and talking to you guys in the comments. So hopefully you appreciate that, and if not, that's okay too. You know, there's plenty of people who, especially now, plenty of people who play this game online. But let's end this episode off by watching this thing explode, because, well, what else are you really going to do except just watch stuff explode that you can't control? And as soon as that goes off, that's going to be it. So, there goes our hopes and dreams of keeping this thing, you know, clean, irrigated, whatever. But we do have the opportunity to put another aquifer here when the time comes. And all we can do now is just rebuild and figure out where we're going. So, we managed to pull it off. I don't know how we did, but we did. And now we can move forward and try to make some earnest steps toward getting out of the crater and keeping these beavers alive for one more episode. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, have a better time than these beavers did, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.